Hi, hey everybody. So recently we've been working in the major scale, right? Which we talked about as far as whole steps and half steps being a grouping of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Major, right? We talked about how it's generally happy. Right now we're going to learn something called the minor scale, which is a little bit, darker and has a little bit more tension in it. So the minor scale is the grouping of whole steps and half steps is it goes whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Okay? So we're going to take a look at one that's all white keys and is nice and easy. All right, so we're going to start with the key of A minor. So here's A. All right, ready? We're going to go a whole step above A, which is B. Then we're going to go a half step above B, which is C. Then we're going to do our first of two whole steps, right? Which is going to be D. And then our second whole step, which is going to be E. Then we do our half step, which goes to F. Then we're going to do our whole step that goes to G. Then we're going to do our last whole step, which goes to A. So it would be. So to review, right, goes A, and then goes whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a quick cheat code for how to figure out what is in the minor scale. If you already know the major scale, for example, we know the key of C is all white keys, right? Then you can figure out, there's something called a relative minor, which is saying that there's a minor key that has all the same keys in it. And you figure out the relative minor by taking the major key, right, which is C, and going down 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. So the relative minor for C is A minor. So in the key of C, we have all white keys, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? In the key, in its relative minor, A is going to be all white keys as well. Okay? So right now, let's figure out what the relative minor is for the key of D, okay? So in the key of D, we went over it in the past, but it has 2 sharps. It has F sharp and C sharp, right? Goes D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then D, right? So here's D, right? If we're gonna figure out the relative minor, we have to go down 3 half steps, right? So we go 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be in the relative minor for D major is going to be B minor. So what does that mean? In the key of B minor, we know we're going to have an F sharp and a C sharp. Okay? So we'll keep that in mind, okay? So now F sharp and C sharp are going to be in there. So now let's walk through what a B minor is, right? Using the order of whole steps and half steps we went over for minor. So for B minor, right, it'll be B, and then we do a whole step, which goes to C sharp, just like we were talking about. Then we're gonna do our half step, right, goes to D. Then we're gonna go whole step, which goes to E. Then whole step again, which is gonna go to F sharp, right, like we were talking about, having F sharp and C sharp. Then we're gonna do our half step, which goes to G. Then we're gonna do our last 2 whole steps, which goes to A and then B. So all together is. Right? Now, instead of doing that whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, we could basically just realize, hey, the relative major is D, which has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp, and then just basically play, go ahead, start with B, and play every note. And any note that is going to be a sharp, we just play that instead of the white key. So B, then we go to C, but it's going to be C sharp, D, right? Everything else is fine. Okay, and as you figure out, and let's say you want to do the key of E, right? We were messing around with E earlier, right? And in E we had E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, right? So we had 4 sharps, right? F, G, C, D, right? Right? Now we want to figure out what the relative minor is for E. We go down 3 half steps, right? 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be C sharp minor is the relative minor. So what we can do right now is just start going. C sharp, go to the next one. Oh, we know that there's 4 sharps, right, in the key of E, right? So the relative minor is going to have 4 sharps as well. So we go C sharp, D sharp, E is fine. Then we're going to tuck, right? And then we're going to go okay? So, but once again, let's walk through that with the whole step, half step, right? So we go, here we go, we have C sharp, and we go whole step, which is going to be D sharp. Then we have half step, which is going to be E. Then we're going to do our next 2 whole steps, which is going to be F sharp, G sharp. Then we have our half step, which is going to be A. Then we have our next 2 whole steps, which is going to be B, and then ends with C sharp. Okay? And lastly, you can take the same kind of songwriting techniques that we were using for our major scale and apply them, right? In the key of, like I said, we were just doing, in the key, go back to A minor, right? All of them can have numbers as well, right? In the key of A minor, go to the 1, go to the 2, go to the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So when you want to call out a number, you want to say 3, 2, 6, right? That's why I always kind of just randomly throw, right? 3, 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be these 3 notes, right? So 3, 2, 6, right? And see how the notes sound different. Okay? Now that they're in minor, those numbers that we're assigning, they have a different grouping. We'll worry about what chords associated with them later. All right, that's all for now. Thanks so much.